Hello everyone, and welcome back. As it's a nice day, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show you all of the things that I do to the tractor to get it ready for winter. There's quite a bit. And of course, nice day, so the mosquitoes are back again. They're still holding on. It's October. So for those that don't know, it is a early 1950s, I think it's 53, but I'm not sure, Nuffield Universal 4, so it makes it about 70 years old. She's an old girl for sure, but still going strong, although leaks quite a bit of oil. But we are going to address that probably next year. I'm planning on restoring this a bit anyway. But let's start from the front and work backwards. So up front we've got, this is actually a new addition for this winter. We had a plough on here before, but it was quite a bit smaller. This is a 180 centimetre, the other one was 150 I believe. But this is basically just an ATV plough, or I think this one is a UTV plough. Just a bit bigger, a bit more heavy duty. Obviously there's various different ways that you can attach a plough onto a tractor. I think the best way, if I'm honest, is to have a steel bar going to the rear hitch and link it on like that, because then all of the force is going, you know, down the tractor. But this is what we've got for now. It worked pretty well last winter, although I did snap some of the welds, so I've had to do a bit of reinforcement for this year. So now on the frame here, I've redone all the welds, and we've now got this angle bar reinforcement as well. So I think it's going to be solid enough. I've got the ATV plate, which would be mounted underneath, obviously bolted onto here. And then to lift it up and down, again, ATV Winch. Because this was on offer in the hardware store, and this cost me about 40 quid. So it does the job perfectly. This obviously goes to a control box in the cab. And then to get the angle, because if I just ran the cable straight to here, it wouldn't have the angle of leverage to actually pick this up. So what I've done is gone straight up to a pulley type thing onto a eyelet up here, and this beam here is reinforced by more angle steel. So although I did get quite a bit of bendage last year, once I put these on it was fine after that. So that's why this is all a bit, I've managed to bend the eye. Quite a lot of force going into this. Obviously you've got 2 ton of tractor pushing into it, and sometimes the snow doesn't want to go anywhere. But this setup here really works well. I was actually quite impressed with how well it worked from the off. But a few modifications for this year, and hopefully that'll iron out the problems we had. We've got a lot of lighting on this thing because, you know, north of Sweden gets pretty dark in the middle of winter. So we've got these ones that sort of light up the plough. These main ones here, which I've put some LED bulbs in, these actually go really far. They're decent, so they're the main headlights. And these just help sort of light up the area right in front of the tractor. And then the only other thing up here is the chains on the front tyres. Now you might be wondering, what is the point? Because obviously it's only a 2-wheel drive, rear wheel drive. So why bother putting chains on here? Well, it actually makes a massive difference because of the type of tyre, and they're quite worn as well. I actually need new front tyres for this. But what happens is, once you angle that front plough slightly to obviously push the snow out of the way, the tractor starts being pushed away from the angle of the plough. So if we're angled that way, the tractor's going to want to go this way, which is not ideal for control. And I've found that using these actually digs into the hard pack enough to sort of stop that happening. It still happens a bit, but nowhere near as bad as running it without them. Because I did do a comparison, I tried it, and it is a lot better with the chains on. So I had them anyway. These are for my van, and now they're staying on. So then, lighting wise, we've got one of these on each side, lighting up down the side of the tractor, and then 2 on the back here, obviously doing the rear attachment and behind. And then obviously the chains on here are the most important ones. because without these you're not going very far. This is a really crap set of chains. We need to buy a new one. They don't fit properly. That's what the spider web of tensioning is all about. But they'll have to do for another year. I'll probably look at buying some new ones next year. But you see how aggressive these are. I mean, they properly bite into the ice. And yeah, don't get much wheel spin with this. Almost forgot there's also a massive light bar up there as well, just for the sake of it really. So then, as for the rear tool, this is what we've got. It's a scraping blade, which worked pretty well last year, but for this season I've decided to extend it by about 50 centimetres. I don't know what we're at now, probably 2.5 metres maybe. But this extension here now makes it so it way clears the tractor. Before it came up to here, which is pretty much in line with these wheels. And the problem with that is the track that I have to clear has ditches into fields on the either side of it. And for me to get the snow into that ditch, I have to run the tractor so close to the edge for this to scrape the last bit off that 2 or 3 occasions I did start to tip over. It was quite a, you know, bum twitching moment. But yeah, hopefully this will eliminate that problem, and it's made it even heavier, which is never a bad thing with tools like this. But as for tools, that's pretty much it. This is all we have for this tractor, so we make it work. The double plough system actually does a really good job, to be honest, because that front one pushes the bulk of it out of the way, and then this thing just like scalps the road completely behind it. It does a really good job, which ultimately means less passes for me, less diesel usage, less time wasted, even though I love it. It's a lot of fun. But we do want to be efficient with what we do, otherwise it's a bit pointless, isn't it? Right, I'll show you in the cab. Just before we go in, this is the exhaust from the diesel heater. I've got a small diesel heater in here. Obviously, you know, working in -30, you need some kind of heating, otherwise it's a bit brutal. But that vents right out the top there. I put a flashing light on it. You know, you just got to, haven't you, really? So then, in the cab, I foamed the seat, because again, metal seat, not much fun. I know it's a terrible job, but it works. In the cab, that is the control for the front winch to lift the plough up and down. So yeah, that works pretty well. Not the best placements in the world, but I make it work. Got a little switch there for the main headlights. That does them. And then to the side here, we've got the switch panel for all of the lighting. Even got the signature red light in the cab, you know. Just don't worry about the wiring. I know it's a disaster, but it is what it is. And obviously to the right of that, we've got the control for the diesel heater, which lives just down here. This is just a 2 kilowatt Chinese diesel heater for the smaller size unit. It's more than enough for here. I have a piece that goes onto here with a splitter, so one bit, I think I've got it coming this way, and one goes up and points at the window, because that thing frosts up pretty quick from my breath. So yeah, it does a pretty good job, to be honest. Gets it toasty in here quite quickly. Something else I did to the tractor is put this window in. Well, I actually built this whole board at the back and then put this window in just so I can see what's going on. I know it's not really winter related, but one of the mods that I've done. And that is pretty much it. Ready to go for winter. There's one more job that I've thought about I want to do. After putting these chains on, I've realised that they are hitting the door. I didn't do that last winter. You see, it's only skimming it, but it's kind of annoying. So I think what I'm going to do is flip the wheels around or swap them over. If I take this wheel and put it on that side and vice versa, you can run them the other way, but then you see how this dishes inwards, this will then be that way, so the track should be a lot wider if I do the swap over, and that should give me the clearance, I think, for that. And it's also Sometimes these chains catch the side of the tractor, which is not ideal. I mean, if one of these caught one of these fenders or something, it's going to rip it to bits, isn't it? So I think the last job I'm going to do is going to be to swap these wheels around, but that's quite a job. They are heavy, especially with these chains on here now. These alone weigh about 50 kilos, maybe more. Probably going to need some assistance for that. But I think with that swapped over, this thing's going to be a proper beast this winter. I just thought of something else. Ignore the wires, I've had the looming bits the other day. But this thing tucked in here is a block heater, mains powered. So pretty much every vehicle here has that. But you sort of turn that on, little plug here, and run it for a few hours before starting. And that preheats the engine, otherwise you've got no chance starting it. But I have another one. I've got one that goes in line on the coolant pipe, so I think I'm going to add that as well. So we've got double preheater running, because it was a bit of an arse to get going last winter. Yeah, flip the tyres, another preheater, and a new battery, because this is crap. And then I think it's going to be quite the tool for what we need anyway. But that's about it. Other than those things, it's just a normal Nuffield. Obviously the cab has been put on at some point in its life. Normally it wouldn't have that, but without that, I couldn't use it here. No chance. So we can look forward to some winter ploughing action in the near future. That's going to be a lot of fun. I am unnaturally excited for this place to be buried in snow again. I do enjoy it. Right, I'll see you all on the next one. Catch you in a bit.